Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. I want to make another video today talking about the defensive rifle. Maybe talk about some concepts that may be a little upsetting to some of you folks, but nevertheless I think it's important, and I challenge you to talk to professionals and get some of their points of view. You know, when I made these videos about the defensive rifle, I've been, I think, been very consistent in talking about a broader sense of defense, not just home defense, but a broader sense of defense. That maybe one day, and we all pray that it never happens, that you may have to defend not only your family, but maybe your community, maybe your nation. Okay? And it's that type of concept that I've talked about, the defensive rifle. The American rifleman, an ideal that I not only believe in, but believe is as necessary today as it was in years past. But I've seen a lot of videos here on YouTube, people talking about different rifles and proclaiming that they are suitable to be that defensive rifle. And I want to share some thoughts about that. Now, not even considering an outside threat, let's just talk about the United States itself and some sort of internal threat that could arise within this nation, whether it be some sort of WROL or SHTF or whatever, okay? You have to consider all the different rifles that are here in the United States, right? From lever action guns to bolt action guns and a wide variety of semi-automatic rifles. So I think that you would have to expect that you may have to defend yourself by groups of people that have a wide variety of firearms, including self-loading rifles with 20 and 30 round magazines at least, if not drums or some longer magazines or whatever. And once you've come to that conclusion that that is definitely a possibility, then you would want to arm yourself as best as you can to defend your loved ones, your community. Okay? So it's that I want to talk to you about. You know, I've made some videos talking about rifles, military surplus rifles, that have at one point in time or another been very available and very inexpensive. Their ammunition very inexpensive at the time, maybe not so much today. And how you know, they could be pressed into service to be that defensive rifle. What I have not made clear, and what I intend to make clear in this video, is that they may not be optimal choices. They may not be the best of choices that you could make. But they could fill a void until you can acquire a better rifle, a more capable rifle. Okay? And I think that's important for you to understand. I want you to understand what my point of view is on this subject. Example. Here's an outstanding rifle, I think, the SKS. Okay? And this is in an original configuration of an SKS. And this original configuration can fill a void as a defensive rifle, but it is not optimal. Okay? It is a internal 10 round box magazine that is fed with stripper clips. Firepower is going to be important if you're facing weapons with higher firepower, right? And I know folks that can really use these stripper clips very quickly and can really help keep this gun into the fight. But no matter how good you are, it can't match the firepower of 30 round magazines, drum magazines, and so forth for some of these other firearms. That's not conjecture, that's reality. Okay, so this rifle can meet, in my opinion, the qualifications of being a good defensive rifle because of the accessories that you can put on the rifle and the capability that you can increase in this rifle, that you can have detachable box magazines with that 20 and 30 round capability. As a matter of fact, you know, back in the 80s, I had one of these from Norinco, an SKS, that actually used AK-47 magazines. It came with 3 Chinese AK-47 magazines. And that rifle is just as capable as an AK. Okay? Because they're all semi-automatics in our world today, or most all. And so that could make an SKS a very capable defensive rifle. But left in its original format, not so much. You see, we learned this in war. We learned it in war. George Patton said that the M1 Garand was the finest implement of battle ever devised, right? A lot of that had to do with it was a semi-automatic rifle facing bolt-action rifles. Okay. Yes, there were other weapons out there. Don't try to confuse the issue. But that M1 Garand offered the soldier a lot more firepower, and that firepower turned out to be decisive in many engagements. And that was just a 8-round en bloc clip. But yet it received such high honors from men like George Patton. The Germans realized it during World War II and developed what we know as the grandfather, the first of the assault rifles, an intermediate cartridge in a rifle that was much lighter. Well, I don't know that it was actually much lighter, but it had a lot more firepower. And it had semi and fully automatic features to it. That Sturmgewehr, or whatever it's called, type of rifle has spawned not only other rifles, but a completely different way that modern militaries look at what weapons they put in their soldiers' hands. Okay. So guns like the Mikhail Kalashnikov's AK-47, Stoner's AR-15, you know, the different types of bullpups, some of which used by the British. Now, all these firearms, they contain that ability of firepower, right? And they also use an intermediate cartridge. It allows the soldier to carry more ammunition, to have more firepower available to them. So when I look at folks that have made oodles and oodles and oodles of videos about their favorite bolt-action surplus rifle and declare that that is suitable as an optimal SHTF or prepping or WROL type of rifle, I had to say that I disagree with you. See, we're not always going to be able to pick the spot where we end up fighting, or the distance, or even the time. Again, history and war have taught us that. You can't always make sure that you keep your enemy 600 yards away where you can pick them off with your bolt-action military surplus rifle. And remember that in the close quarters encounters that will always take place, that bolt-action rifle cannot match a semi-automatic rifle. Now, just a brief moment, I'd like to talk to you about cartridges, the chamberings for these rifles. They need to be rifle chamberings, okay? Not pistol chamberings, which can fill a void for certain close quarter encounters. But if I had to choice between an AK-47 and some type of a pistol caliber carbine in .45 or 40 Smith & Wesson or whatever, I'm going to pick that AK-47. These are my opinions, but it needs to be in a good military style chambering, in my opinion. Can you defend yourself with your granddaddy's 30-30 Winchester lever action rifle? Sure you can. Sure you can. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that it's not optimum. It's not the best choice to have. And if that's what you have right now, then learn to use it. Learn to use it well. But keep in your mind that you want to acquire a better, more suitable defensive rifle. The Mosin Nagant is very popular in the United States right now because there's large numbers being sold at very inexpensive prices. And the ammunition today is also very inexpensive. The rifles that I showed in some of my videos before, the Springfield Armory, 1903 A3, British Enfield, I don't remember if I showed my Mauser, but I have a Mauser K98. See, these are all the same technology era, right? These were all World War I rifles, many of them used in World War II as well, and even beyond that. But the militaries were already understanding the value of the intermediate cartridge and a higher capacity magazine with the ability of semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. That's where we are in today's modern world. That's where we are in today's United States. So this rifle is capable of filling a void, and it brings value to any type of long-term scenario. It brings value, but it is not that best choice. It is not that optimal choice to make. All right, guys. Now, I'm not trying to insult, and I'm not trying to upset, but I think that this is an actual reality. I've showed in a lot of videos that this is a rifle that I consider for defense. It's not the only one that I have, but it's one that this type of rifle I feel is an optimal choice. This happens to be an AR-15 type of rifle. It's a Para-Ordnance TTR, and unfortunately, this specific rifle is no longer made, but there are plenty of AR-15 types out there. There's plenty of AK types out there. There's plenty of other semi-automatic rifles that are out there that are very suitable for defense because they have a much higher rate of fire, more firepower. And if you're going to be faced with rifles like this, then you should have a good response to rifles like this. Okay? So, believe what you will. These are my opinions, and I thought I would share them with you. At any rate, this rifle, in my opinion, is something that you should look to get, or something like it. And there are many, many very good rifles that are out there that can fill that need. I know a friend of mine that has a Mini 14, and man, he can make that thing sing. He's good with that rifle, and he's got himself a good defensive rifle. It doesn't have to be an AR. It doesn't have to be an AK. There are many other great rifles out there that are suited for the defensive role, are suited for the American rifleman. All right? Well, just consider what I'm saying, and thank you for watching. And remember to shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.